well, that's my chief of police right there. He saw y'all go around traffic. He was trying to figure out who y'all are with or what was going on.
Okay.
So he called out on the radio and asked for a marked unit, and that's why I got you pulled over.
Yeah, I just work in the criminal detail. I went to get my car checked up because you can see all the lights on.
Why is the car registered to an individual?
That's mine. It's my company.
So what are you doing with all these red lights?
Sorry?
Why all these emergency lights?
Yes.
And did I see you using emergency lights to pull out into traffic on Lake Ackworth Drive?
Oh, no, because I couldn't get through, Chief. You notice?
There's trying to be no pain in your hip. But Chief, please, man. I don't want to get grounded. Please, from G-Dot. Please.
Huh?
I beg you, Chief.
I get that.
I live in the community. I live right there on 3045. I'm not a bad person. Please, Chief. I beg of you.
I don't think you're a bad. Let me have your business card. I don't think you're a bad person.
No, I just don't
I
want to
think
get...
you're impersonating a police officer.
I don't want to... No, I don't impersonate police officers, sir.
How much aura do you lose when you get caught impersonating a police officer, and the person catching you is the chief of police? Because that's exactly what happened here. Jarrettson Mackey thought flashing red lights would make him a real officer. Instead, it got the attention of the worst possible person he could have run into. This isn't just a bad day, it's a career-ending main character moment gone wrong. Before we roll the footage, keep an eye on the small details in this stop, because something that might look convincing from a distance can start raising a lot of questions once you see it up close. Jarrettson Mackey sits in a white Dodge Charger, a vehicle that has become notorious for being an unmarked police unit. He's calm, composed, and speaks in a cadence that feels rehearsed, nothing like the typical nervous teen caught in a lie. Within the first few seconds of interaction, Mackey drops the phrase that defines his entire defense. He's not outright claiming to be a cop, not yet, but the title is just official enough to make someone hesitate. Most people would stop, question themselves, and maybe give him a pass.
Who do you work for? This is my company. I'm an off-duty hero operator. This is my company.
Okay.
Yeah, I do criminal details. Yeah.
So you look like me, you're impersonating a police officer.
Oh, no, sir. I'm not impersonating, sir.
But his audience isn't just a citizen or even a rookie officer. It's the chief of police, who had a front row seat to Mackey using red emergency lights to bypass a standstill at Lake Ackworth. And that's the promise of today's video. We're breaking down the moment a high-level LARPer realized that a $2,000 uniform and a $20 light don't grant you the power of a badge. The very second he flipped those lights on, the illusion of authority collided with real authority.
4-6 ready. I'll be 1035 with that vehicle. I'm going to be pulling into Julie's Boutique right here off of Main Street.
Mackey's setup was elaborate. The tactical vest, magazine carriers, and duty belt weren't costume props. They were tools designed to signal authority. Add to that a Glock visibly holstered, and you have someone who looks like the law. Then there's the $20 plug-in red emergency light. On its own, it's laughably cheap, but when combined with the rest of the outfit, it's the final piece of the illusion. That little light gave him the power to manipulate perception and create compliance, until he met someone who couldn't be fooled.
Hey, partner.
Hi.
Hey, I'm Officer Park with the Ackworth Police Department.
How are you all?
The only reason why I'm pulling you over, I guess y'all were, well, that's my chief of police right there. He saw y'all go around traffic. He was trying to figure out who y'all are with or what was going on.
Okay.
So he called out on the radio and asked for a marked unit, and that's why I got you pulled over.
That's fine.
So I'll just let him come up if you want. I want to ask who y'all work for, Georgia Metropolitan?
Yeah, I'm an off-duty hero operator.
Oh, off-duty
Yeah.
hero operator?
How you doing, Chief? Hey. I'm an off-duty operator. I just working off criminal detail. That's my ID. That's my badge.
Mackey keeps calling himself an off-duty hero operator in front of the chief. To a regular citizen, that sounds like he's part of a specialized state task force. But here is the reality check. In Georgia, HERO stands for Highway Emergency Response Operator. These are the people in the yellow trucks who help you change a tire or clear a wreck. Notice the difference? Real HERO units drive bright yellow trucks and use amber lights. Mackey is in a blacked-out Charger using red lights. By stealing the HERO name but using police aesthetics, he's creating a hybrid identity designed to confuse everyone. It's a gray zone tactic. If he gets questioned, he can say I'm a hero operator, but if he wants you to move, he lets the red lights do the lying for him.
Yeah, I just work in the criminal detail. I went to get my car checked up because you can see all the lights on.
Why is the car registered to an individual?
That's mine. This is my company.
So what are you doing with all these red lights?
Sorry?
Why all these emergency lights?
Yes.
And did I see you using emergency lights to pull out into traffic on Lake Ackworth Drive?
Oh, no, because I couldn't get through, Chief. You notice? That's a standstill. So I flashed the lights hoping you could see me that I was trying to get in the line. Who do you work for? This is my company. I'm an off-duty hero operator. This is my company.
What truly makes this incident so creepy is how good a liar Mackey is. Watch him being calm, professional, and dismissive. He's got the kind of attitude that tells bystanders, I belong here. This is classic social engineering. When someone looks and acts like they belong, most people won't ask for credentials. Mackey's angle? He claims to work for a company called Georgia Metropolitan and lives in the gray zone, that thin sliver between private security and public authority. His gamble is that the officers will be so baffled by his jargon that they'll let him walk, or drive, away with a warning.
Okay.
Yeah, I do criminal details. Yeah.
So look like me, you're impersonating a police officer.
Oh, no, sir. I'm not impersonating, sir.
You got any ID on you?
Yes, sir. If you look in the front,
Yeah. I see red lights. I saw red lights when you pulled out.
Yeah, that's sir. That's when it activated to the back.
Yeah. Where's your ID?
Right, yes, Chief. Yeah.
After a few seconds, Mackey pulls out what he believes is a masterstroke, a lighting permit. In his mind, this is the shield that legitimizes everything. He explains that the car is his personal vehicle but registered for his business. Most people think a permit equals immunity, but the law sees it differently. A permit allows you to possess the equipment, not operate it as an emergency vehicle. Mackey admits he used the lights to get through traffic because he couldn't get through otherwise. He thought flashing them would make drivers let him in line. This is the moment he essentially admits to a crime, using the appearance of emergency authority to manipulate public behavior. In legal terms, that's an unauthorized traffic signal, a foundational element of an impersonation charge.
Do you have a lighting permit for the vehicle?
Yeah, right there on the glass.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
It works.
Be right back with you, okay?
All right.
He's got a lighting permit on the... I'm just looking at this, sir. The lighting permit's good through December of this year. Hey, Chief, what do you say that cross was where you saw him activate the lights on Lake Ackworth?
What's the name of the subdivision with the mayor behind
Lake
He was at
Ackworth Muffler.
and he was wanting to turn right out on the 92 in that string of traffic there, and he turns on
Okay.
the lights to get out there.
Okay, so near Cherokee Street. I'll put that close to where's Cherokee at? Cherokee, there we go. So that is roughly about 300 feet.
He's got front windshield tinted and all windows are there. His front windshield's a tire tinted. Also.
Has he got a gun on him too? The thing is so he has a lighting permit that's valid. He has a lighting permit that's valid for the vehicle.
The most fascinating part of Mackey's story is the huddle. Officer Park and the chief step back, pull out the official code of Georgia annotated, and start cross-referencing statutes governing lighting.
You can't have red, though. You can't have red or blue, right?
That's what I'm curious about. If he has a company that does escorts, I'd have to look back in the law. I would assume it's amber and white.
Right.
But at the very least, from what Chief's saying, he's improperly using them. He's not on an escort.
Right.
He's just trying to cheat his way into traffic. Right. So at the very least, I have him on improper use of emergency equipment. 300 feet.
Speeding down Calvin Road.
Yeah.
Conditions, actually.
Yeah. It's just I didn't, Chief didn't get me a number, so I don't know if he was pacing them.
They discover the disconnect immediately. Under OGA 4892, red and blue lights are sacred in the hierarchy of authority. Blue is reserved strictly for law enforcement, red for fire, EMS, and state-authorized emergency units, and amber for escorts, tow trucks, and construction crews. Mackey's permit may have allowed him to install lights for escort work, but the moment he flipped them to bypass traffic, he transitioned from private contractor to public impersonator. The officers quickly realize he's not on a mission. He's just an impatient driver with a $2,000 costume and a car designed to mislead.
I don't think Chief was pacing him. He didn't tell me exactly how fast he's doing. He's just saying flying. Oh, you said 57? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
We can't pace in our cars, but we can it'd be too fast for conditions.
Okay.
It's red.
300 feet west. All emergency vehicles shall be designated as such as the Commissioner of Public Safety. All right, let's see here. Such permit shall be valid for 1 year from each state and insured. However, the permits of the vehicle belonging to federal, state, county, or municipal government agency shall be valid for 5 years. Any and all official marked law enforcement vehicles specified under 4891 should require to have a permit to use blue lights. Any and all fire department vehicles.
Yeah, you can't have red at all unless you're stationary.
Go for 'em. Any and all fire department vehicles which are distinctly marked on each side shall not be required to have a permit. Use red light. Any other ambulance code defection license shall be required to. Any and all ambulances as defined in Code Section 3111.2, licensed by the state, shall be required to have a permit for the use of red lights.
You said Georgia, the canine that has that white Explorer that goes to the American Legion. You see, was it Georgia MES or
The commissioner shall
doing escorts?
The commissioner shall authorize the use of red or amber flashing or revolving lights only when the person or governmental agency shall demonstrate to the commissioner a proven need for equipping a vehicle with emergency lights. Fee for such lights by municipal. Okay, so that says authorize the use of red or amber. So I don't provided a county municipal agency as defined in code.
Is that an emergency permit?
He has a lighting permit, yeah.
Oh.
The officers moved to the front of the Dodge Charger and noticed the windshield. In Georgia, legal tint on side windows usually hovers around 32%, but the front windshield is almost always off limits. Mackey's glass isn't just shaded, it's a blackout curtain. This isn't just about the driver's privacy, it's about the psychology of the aesthetic. If you are a real undercover officer, you need to be anonymous. If you are an impersonator, you need to be a ghost. By obscuring his face behind a dark tint, Mackey creates the Wizard of Oz effect. He wants the public to see the law, the car, the flashing lights, the silhouette of a tactical vest, not the regular guy behind the wheel. The dark glass amplifies the myth of his authority while hiding the reality of his identity.
But I think that's the one he has, because they're different colors, I think. The one he has is you don't have to have a light or permit for white.
Yeah, not white. Amber you do. And that's what you see like tow trucks, funeral services, use amber. I think he's waving his hand. Can you see what he's trying to
What do you need?
say? Can you see what he wants?
Who, Chief?
No, the gentleman's waving. I guess he's going up there.
If you listen closely to the footage, you'll hear the officer quietly warn his partner. He got a gun on him too. In the heat of the moment, the police fell for the exact same trick Mackey had been playing on the public. But here's the crazy part. He wasn't actually armed. Follow-up reports confirmed that while he had the professional-looking holster and the extra ammo magazines on his duty belt, the gun itself was missing. It was a 100% visual bluff. Mackey knew that by wearing the silhouette of a weapon, he'd force everyone, from the average driver to the chief of police, to treat him with a level of caution and aura he hadn't earned. He wasn't just impersonating a cop, he was weaponizing the fear of one.
He's out here turning on red lights to move around in traffic.
He's got mag carriers on a belt. This really feels like that whole scenario I was telling you on TV.
This is police impersonation.
Did he mention what his company name was for the escorts?
Yeah, he's mentioned it a couple of times.
Or no, I'm sorry, it's Georgia Metropolitan. That's right, it's on his patch.
This wasn't just about flashing red lights or tinted windows. As the stop went on, the red flags kept piling up. The officers literally called him a textbook case because Mackey hit every single marker on the impersonator's checklist. Take his uniform patches. That Georgia Metropolitan label is designed to make him look like he belongs to a real agency to anyone not paying close attention. It gives him perfect plausible deniability. He can claim he isn't explicitly saying he's a cop, but he fully understands how the public will interpret it. Combined with the empty magazine carriers and the tactical belt, this hardware isn't about actual security, it's pure intimidation. He wasn't equipping himself for safety, he was equipping himself for deception. And that's when the officers realized this wasn't some simple misunderstanding of the law, it was a deliberate attempt to manipulate society using a costume.
Unlawful operation emergency vehicle. Failed to secure. Let me make sure there's no like it right there. So, got that at least. This one's a curious one with lights and a lighting permit.
We've got heating. Where's he live?
Go for him. It's shown off a spindle top. The 8.4.
I'd cite him for that.
Okay.
We'll turn it over to CID and let them work it a little more.
See if there's any
Yeah.
tomfooling on.
I took a picture of his DOT ID,
Okay.
and so then nobody answered.
Gotcha.
Here's exactly where you see Mackey's hero mask coming off as Officer Park returns to the window with the citation. Suddenly, the man who commanded the room moments ago is pleading. He brings up Georgia Department of Transportation and worries about being grounded if the ticket goes through. He's less concerned about law enforcement and more worried about his self-created hierarchy of hero operator work.
All right, Mr. Mackey. There's your ID back.
Thank you.
Look, given with all the light and permit and stuff that I'm seeing, I'm just going to assume everything's properly permitted and stuff for the vehicle.
It is, sir.
That said, with what my chief's observation, the use of those are for strictly business purposes. You
No,
can't
you're right.
you can't be using it to pull into traffic, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I am going to issue a citation for unlawful operation for emergency vehicle, okay? Just here.
I know, let me just talk to Chief real quick before, because I'm telling you how it's going to work. Even though I'm doing this on my private side, once I get this ticket, G-Dot is going to ground me again. I'm going to get grounded. And that's why I try to don't interfere my personal business with G-Dot.
He tries everything, claims he's not a bad person, he lives in the community, and even brings up his past as a policeman in the Bahamas. But real officers see through it. Professional courtesy is reserved for people who respect the law, not those using $20 Amazon lights to cut in line.
Anytime they run a driver's license number, I'm going to get grounded. I ask the chief, please.
I hear, but you have to understand that this whole scenario is a big issue for us too, because the uniform and lights and all that.
No, I
this
understand.
is when it gets.
The thing is, this is my company. I run my company respectfully.
Okay.
Because I deal with high clients. This is my uniform. Nothing on me say officer, nothing. This is my uniform.
I got you.
You understand? But please, I just want to talk to the chief. I know you're going to still do your job. I mean no harm. You can check me. My badge number is 44. I run the express lanes.
Just hear me out.
I don't want to get grounded.
If the chief wants to argue, that's fine. But this is going to stand. All right. Just let me explain this. What I need you to do is sign here at the X. Signing is not an admission.
I know.
Okay.
Routines.
All right.
I'm a former police in the Bahamas. I know.
Okay. Do you need a pen? There you go.
Sir, please, if I could.
Everything I point out to everyone else, auto-generated court date right now is showing for the 18th of August at 9 a.m. at our court. The address is right there on the back of your copy. This phone number right here is to the court services. Takes about 3 to 5 business days for the citation. Give them a call and they'll explain everything to you.
Okay.
Do you have any further?
Do I have to attend the court? Or I just can pay it because I really.
Once you contact that number, they'll tell you all your options. If you can just pay it outright, and they'll explain your payment problems.
Hey, Chief.
Have you got a business card?
Yes, sir. Can I step out?
Yeah. And you're all hot, but what about all these people in there?
I know.
That's why the windows for them.
Yeah, I'm trying to crack the window right now, Chief.
Won't you open all the windows so they don't?
No, the thing is, when I ride, the air, the compressor is going to kick in. Yeah. Chief.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be no pain in your hip, but Chief, please, man, I don't want to get grounded. Please, from G-Dot, please. I beg you, Chief.
I get that.
I live in the community. I live right there on 3485. I'm not a bad person. Please, Chief. I beg of you.
I don't think you're a bad. Let me have your business card. I don't think you're a bad person.
No, I just don't want to get.
You're impersonating a police officer.
I don't want to. No, I don't impersonate police officers, sir. That's why I was careful. I present myself on my uniform. Also, I'm a former police in the Bahamas.
What Mackey did next, nobody saw coming. He argues about his uniform and his title. The legal threshold doesn't require someone to explicitly claim to be a cop. The reasonable person test applies. If a reasonable driver sees a black Dodge Charger with red lights, a man in tactical gear, and a firearm on his hip, are they going to assume he's an officer? Absolutely. By using that perception to control traffic, Mackey effectively stole the authority of the state. This is not about words. It's about the power your appearance grants you.
All right, unless you have any other questions, you're free to leave.
Chief.
I want to verify your employment, and I'm probably going to have CID look into this, to be honest with you, see what you're doing.
I know, Chief.
I don't feel good.
Chief.
Chief,
I can show you my LLC. I can show you my LLC right now.
I'll let them handle it.
And also right here.
Yeah.
That's why I was calling my supervisor just now.
Sure. Okay.
The thing is, anytime I do this, they try to involve G-Dot, and I don't want to get grounded. I hate getting grounded.
Yeah. Well, let's don't get grounded.
Well, this is not us trying to affect your employment. I understand your concerns, but
that's why I'm not being honest. That's why I'm trying to tell my supervisor. This is 1-2 Barnes.
Okay.
All right.
And
Well, that's between you and your boss. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Chief.
we'll do our follow up, but.
The The story wraps with Mackey reluctantly signing the ticket, but the real weight lands with the chief's parting words: "Sid will be following up." That's not just bureaucracy, it's a red flag. SID stands for Criminal Investigation Division. These are the officers who don't just hand out tickets, they investigate potential crimes, dig through records, verify claims, and piece together the truth. In Mackey's case, every claim he made about Georgia Metropolitan, his so-called details, and any authority he exercised will be scrutinized. Investigators will check if the agency actually exists, verify whether Mackey ever had lawful authority to stop vehicles, and dig into previous encounters or complaints. They'll review documents, permits, and registrations, and may even interview witnesses who saw him in uniform. SID doesn't stop at paperwork. If they uncover intentional impersonation or misuse of authority, this case could escalate to a felony charge. That $2,000 uniform and $20 light suddenly carries serious consequences. Think of it like peeling back an onion. The ticket is only the first layer. SID will examine every layer of Mackey's story: his car, gear, claims, and even social media posts. Each exaggeration or gray zone defense can be used against him. So while Mackey walks away today thinking he dodged the system, the SID is quietly doing the heavy lifting, making sure the line between fantasy and reality in law enforcement stays clear. For anyone tempted to flash lights and wear tactical gear, this is the real life what happens next moment that can turn a stunt into serious criminal trouble. Jarrett's and Mackey's story isn't just a cautionary tale about getting caught, it's a warning about the power of perception. Impersonation laws aren't about protecting the pride of the police, they're about maintaining public trust. When someone pretends to wield authority on the road, it creates confusion, fear, and potential chaos. Imagine a real emergency vehicle behind Mackey's car, sirens blaring. Drivers might ignore it, thinking it's just another hero trying to get through traffic. That's the real danger. Authority is fragile. When someone like Mackey abuses it, even with a permit and a uniform, the system must intervene. Because at the end of the day, public safety depends on the ability to trust what you see on the road. If you saw this car behind you with flashing red lights, would you pull over immediately? Or would you notice the Georgia Metro patch and think twice? Jarrett's and Mackey tried to define his own version of heroism, but in the eyes of the law, heroism isn't about appearance, it's about legitimacy, accountability, and consequences. And as we see from this incident, a $2,000 costume and a $20 light cannot protect you from reality. What are your thoughts about this entire impersonation case? Let us know in the comments below.